Look at that, guys. Fall is upon us. At least in Chicago. I don't know about you guys, but you know, in Illinois where we are, the leaves are changing, leaves are falling. Fall is here. That means boost weather. All right, guys, how's it going? What is up? So this is supposed to be part 4, the final part of the Japan trip, but I ran into some technical difficulties. Essentially, after looking back at the footage when I'm in the States, I realized that part 4 and a lot of the stuff we did, the audio is completely like bad. And I guess completely is just an overstatement, but it's pretty bad. And it's to the point where I am not comfortable putting that out because I feel like you guys will just be annoyed hearing that type of audio. And so to kind of pivot around the situation, I wanted to kind of make this last video for the Japan series a ranking of all the places I've been in Japan, all the stuff that you've seen in these video series, as well as the stuff that I was going to put out in this video. I'm just going to rank them from best to maybe not the greatest. So when you guys go to Japan, you guys can use this video as a reference for places to go, things to do, and things to buy and stuff like that. So that's essentially the goal of today's video. I also want to point out that the GX has been undergoing some interesting problems, and so for sure there are going to be videos coming out regarding the GX and the issues that has. And then when it comes to the Supra, I would love to show you guys the Supra right now, but I can't because there has been a lot of big changes on the Supra. And on top of that, we just got back from the Tail of the Dragon, which I'm going to put a video up, of course, but Tail of the Dragon Part 2, second time going to the Tail, awesome time, love it around there. They have some great roads around the Tennessee, North Carolina area, and roads that we don't get in Illinois, and so it was a great time. But I cannot show you guys the Supra right now because there are some big changes to the car, and if I show it to you guys, it just doesn't make sense. And so for sure, those videos will be coming out in the future. I haven't been just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. I've been busy a lot with a new job, obviously making these videos for you guys, and then just kind of like brainstorming ideas because it's the fall right now, and after the fall, it's gonna soon become winter, and during winter it's not the greatest time to drive the Supra, but it's a good time to drive the GX, which is why I bought it as a winter car. And so I've been doing some stuff. But anyways, of course, back to the video. This is the last video of the Japan series, titled ranking all the places that I've been in Japan for your guys's reference framework guide. I don't know. Here we go. But now, since we kind of have the intro figured out, I want to talk about the actual places that we're going to be talking about in Japan. So again, if you guys first time watching the video, I think this is a good video that you guys clicked on. This is the last part of the Kenihan Japan series. In this video, I'm just going to be covering, again, all the places I've been to Japan, ranking them in, I guess, the order of what I like and what I had the most fun in, essentially. However, I kind of made this order a little bit more strategic too, because maybe you are having a friend or a partner come with you. Maybe this person, is your girlfriend, wife, and they're not into cars, or your friend that's not into cars. Well, good thing for you, I try to make this list good enough where you could go to these places as well, but be in the vicinity to do other stuff. And I'll talk about that later. So the list of places that we've been to in Japan, that I've been to in Japan, goes as following: Eipedado, Nissan Crossings, Lexus Intersect, Omori Factory, Liberty Walk Tokyo, Peaches, Joshin Osaka, Kenbach Shinjuku, and Tamtam Akihabara. 9 places in total, all related to car stuff. And the reason why I spoke in that order is there's a couple things. One, accessibility. Most likely you're not going to have a car and you're going to be relying on public transit to get around, which is good because Japan's public transit is very foreigner friendly, and you'll be surprised how far you can get with public transit. I was surprised how far I could get. Number 2, not all these places are like hardcore, like car related stuff. Some are like cafes, some are places where you can chill. Some are places like hobby shops where you can buy stuff and buy the model car that you want or that you have. And so kind of put it in a mix. And the last one is the vicinity. Yes, some of these places you might be just going just for that location, but majority of these places you can go and also hang out around that location and check out other stuff in that area. And so that's kind of the reason why I put this list as following. So starting this off, we have Eipedado. Auto Box. 8-Pit Auto Box, that's the first place we went to. And that is honestly my favorite place I went to in Japan. And a couple reasons. One, if you're going to 8-Pit Auto Box, I highly recommend that you also check out Team Labs. And Team Labs is a interactive museum-like experience. It's essentially a art gallery, but it's not the art gallery that you're like, oh cool, like there's art on the wall. No, it's like, it's very interactive, meaning that you go walk through the exhibits and you yourself are a part of the art. I don't know how to explain it, but there's these cool rooms where you walk through water, rooms where you walk through like a mirror room and there's like lights hanging out. It's very like ethereal, I can explain it, but I think that's cool, and that's like right next to 8-Pit Auto Box. It's connected by a bridge. It's pretty close in my opinion, and if you go during, again, not summer, the fall or something, you could definitely commute from 8-Pit Auto Box to Team Labs with ease. It's not a problem. But if you're in the summer, it's gonna be hot as balls. But when you go to 8-Pit Auto Box, probably the biggest reason why I do like it is just the convenience of just a lot of stuff there. If you like Rays, if you like HREs or work or advance, if you like the overland, if you want to get model cars there, if you want to get books and printouts and shirts and apparel, they all have it. Super 8-Pit Auto Box is essentially the department store of car stuff that you're interested in. And when you go there, not only do they sell car parts and seats like Bride and, you know, Endless Brakes and your GR stuff and TRD stuff, but they also have other stuff for like overlanding and, you know, apparel and whatnot. And so if you are in Japan and you only have one day and you want to experience Japan car culture and take it back with you, I would just go to 8-Pit Auto Box because you can actually buy stuff and bring it back. 8-Pit Auto Box is probably my number one when it comes to the best place to go to as an enthusiast in Japan, with access to another interesting spot as well for your non-enthusiast car friends or whatever. Now the second place is Nissan Crossings. So Nissan Crossings is kind of cool because it's in Ginza, and Ginza is a very, very wealthy neighborhood when it comes to, well, I don't think it's a neighborhood, but very wealthy prefecture. When it comes to Japan, Nissan Crossings is essentially like big store that it's essentially a Nissan showroom in the middle of Ginza. And it's kind of cool because you get to see all of concept cars like the GTR, as well as Formula E race car if you're into Formula E and racing and all that stuff. But when you go to the second floor, because there's 2 floors of Nissan Crossings, you get to see, of course, Godzilla itself. And then you also see a Nissan Fairlady Z, which is, of course, the competitor to the Supra. Other than it having a showroom area, it also has a cool cafe, which you can order different types of drinks. And then you can get a, you know, lemonade or a cafe or a latte that has, you know, your different Nissan design on it. It's kind of like a cool little like enhancement when it comes to the car browsing experience, because you can get like a nice little drink that has like a GTR on it. I think it's a good place to go to if you're really interested and just want a taste of NISMO without going so far to the Omori Factory. Also, location. It's located in Ginza, and you and your friends, there's a lot to do in Ginza. Maybe you want to go to Onitsuka Tiger and buy some of the shoes that everyone in Japan wears. Essentially, they're like the Stan Smiths of Japan, Onitsukas. Or maybe you want to go and check out Uniqlo and Gyu, which is their sister brand that is only sold in Japan and very limited areas of the US. Ginza, Nissan Crossings, a very cool area. Another thing I want to call out is Nissan Crossings, that Ginza crossing where the place is at. It's a cool area because you see actually a lot of car spotting there. You can kind of hang out on the second floor of Nissan Crossings and just look down and just spot cars all day long. For some reason, that area, a lot of cool enthusiast cars drive by, like the Maserati on HREs with this stupid loud exhaust, or like different Ferraris or Lotuses. Again, Ginza is a very wealthy area, so there's a high probability that you're gonna spot a lot of supercars there. But it's just a cool space to be in within Ginza and Nissan and just that area in general. The third place, Lexus Intersect, and it's in Minato City. It's in Tokyo, essentially, that's the area. And Lexus Intersect is kind of a different experience. The one reason why I like it is because it's a car cafe. You can eat, drink, and also look at Lexus and the car that, you know, they have on showroom floor. It's a kind of a cool experience in my opinion. I think it's a cool area to go if maybe you, your partner, your friends are hungry and you kind of want to get a little bit of like that enthusiast like car spotting experience in your itinerary. Check out Lexus Intersect. The food is actually pretty decent, The drinks might be a little bit pricey, but the cool part is you are eating in essentially a Lexus showroom. When we went, I'll throw up the video here, of course. We saw the Lexus LBX Morizo RR, which is essentially a GR Corolla Yaris in a suit, which is kind of cool. Maybe you guys don't know this, but obviously I love Toyota. A lot of my cars are Toyota, except the Supra. But I think it's awesome seeing like model car that they have on display, which is when we went again, it was the Morizo RR. But also you can see different car parts, like legit car parts. Like there's a wall at Lexus Intersect where it's just filled with actual car parts from Lexus and what they use, and they're all painted white to kind of match the aesthetic. It's like very modern, very like cool experience. The first floor is primarily like a cafe, so drinks and stuff. The second floor is where you go when you're hungry and you want to eat some food. And I like how they theme it, because if you look in the little nooks and crannies of the sides, they sell like Lexus mugs, Lexus coats, rain jackets, plates, like tow hooks, like such random stuff that kind of create this Lexus modern atmosphere. They sell it all there. So if you're curious and you just kind of want to buy like a one-off interesting Lexus item, you can do it over there as well. So Lexus Intersect, definitely a cool car cafe experience. I highly recommend checking out in Minato City. Number 4 is Omori Factory. Now, why did I put Omori Factory on number 4? Why isn't that like number 2 or like number 3? There's a couple reasons why. First, accessibility. Accessibility is kind of hard to get to when it comes to the Omori Factory. It's way outside of Tokyo, essentially in Yokohama or Yokohama City, and you have to go pretty far. Uber rides in Japan are typically more expensive than in the United States. I don't know about the other countries, but you know, Uber rides are kind of expensive in Japan. And so if you are considering going to Omori Factory, I highly recommend you do it by transit. The other reason why I put it as number 4 is, again, is related to accessibility, time. Omori Factory is only open on Saturdays. And so if you're flying into Japan and you're not staying for that Saturday and you're only going for like Monday to Friday, gonna kind of suck because Omori Factory is not gonna be open to you. And so you kind of have to plan your trip to go on that Saturday. I was actually very lucky to go to Omori Factory on the day that I went, because I didn't even know that it was only open on Saturdays. And when I walked in and I was kind of talking to the staff and everybody, they're like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Chicago. I'm like, oh, this place is so cool, and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, yeah, we're only open on Saturdays. I'm like, dang, like that would have been very sucky if I went all that far and couldn't go back. The other thing about Omori Factory, again, I'm still talking about the constraints, is that when you head over there by transit, expect to get back by transit. Again, because Uber rides, they don't go that far. Omori Factory is essentially also near Daikoku, PA, which is the car meet spot. And I'll talk about why I didn't add Daikoku into this listing at all, or why I didn't visit. Other than that, other than the fact that it's kind of difficult to go to and the availability, the hours are, you know, open essentially for one day, I think Omori Factory is definitely a must go if you could swing it. Primarily because that is the home to the GTR. That is where people take their GTR and they restore it straight from NISMO, Nissan itself. And so the level of care, attention to detail that people, that you see GTRs go through when it comes to the restoration process is like better than brand new. On top of that, of course, they have a showroom where you can look at Nissan's just accolades and different helmets, awards, cars that they've raced in when it comes to IMSA and Formula E and Dakar and all that stuff. But also they have the Omori Factory like store where essentially you can go and buy your NISMO parts. You know, if you own a GTR, maybe you're watching this, everybody is looking for that titanium NISMO strut bar, right? And Omori Factory sells that titanium NISMO strut bar and anything NISMO related. And so if you're going to Japan to buy car parts and you have a GTR, definitely check out Omori Factory. It's only open on Saturdays, so plan your trip accordingly. All right, at number 5 is Liberty Walk Tokyo. I was kind of conflicted because obviously I'm like Liberty Walk Tokyo, like Liberty Walk, that's like top 3 of Japan's tuning culture garages. But you know, Liberty Walk is more than just a tuning garage now when I kind of look at it.
it's a lifestyle brand. It's a streetwear brand. You know, they're more than just a body shop that has these crazy body kits to F40s and GTRs and stuff like that. But they also are really pushing out their apparel and merch. And so if you go to Liberty Walk, you're probably most likely gonna go to the store in Tokyo, within like the Harajuku area, which Harajuku is kind of like the streetwear of Japan. And it's essentially a store, right? Where you can buy your hoodies like this, your stickers, your shirts and whatnot, your posters, all that stuff, all the paraphernalia of Liberty Walk you can buy over there. And generally, they have one car out there. And when I went, they had this like weird AutoZam looking F40 type of ordeal, which is cool, I guess. But I guess I wanted to see something like a wide body GTR, the Liberty Walk GTR, the R35, or the Liberty Walk RX-7. That would have been cool too. But you know, it is what it is. And I kind of put it at where it is because, I don't know, it's a place where you just essentially spend money. Like it's kind of cool. Like you could go to Liberty Walk itself, but you're just essentially going to spend money there when you go, which isn't bad because you're in Japan and, you know, when's the next time you're going to go? But if you're trying to go to the actual Liberty Walk HQ, where they have all of the cars, where you can have the Liberty Walk ice cream and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure that's in Nagoya, which is pretty outside of Tokyo and all of the like primary places you're most likely going to visit as a first timer to Japan. But if you can swing it, definitely check it out. I haven't been there, but I've seen a lot of pictures and I see a lot of the other YouTubers go. So definitely check it out, the HQ. But you know, the Liberty Walk in Tokyo is pretty cool. I mean, I got this hoodie and this is only sold at Tokyo, so I guess that's cool. Finally, when it comes to the places that you can go for an experience, I put Peaches at the bottom. Now, Peaches is again, another automotive enthusiast apparel clothing brand. Peaches actually headquartered in Korea and they expanded out to Japan. So it's kind of cool going to Peaches in Japan because I've never been to Peaches in Korea. Peaches in Japan was my first Peaches I was there. And when you go in there, it's kind of cool because they're like, you know, like a boutique store. They have like all your clothes on hangers and you ask for sizes and stuff like that. And they usually have a car there. When I went, it was like an E30, which is cool. You know, BMWs, I love BMWs as well. But I put Peaches at the bottom because it's like, again, you're primarily going for the clothing store. And most people, when I say Peaches, probably don't know what Peaches is unless you kind of like are into Asia's like apparel, brand, and car culture. Then you kind of know what Peaches is and you understand that it's from Korea and they just have a store in Japan. That's why Peaches is kind of at the bottom. Again, pretty cool to check out. I bought some clothes there. They have like a latte place. Shout out to the barista. She was really cool to talk to. She was also like kind of like telling me like kind of how hot it is in Japan and the norms of Japan and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. Honestly, Peaches, I wouldn't sweat too much if you can't go there. It's kind of like an thing, but if you can, you know, it's kind of cool to stop by and check it out. All right, guys, that's my list of places to go in Japan if you are a car enthusiast. I'm gonna do a lightning round and just kind of fly through the hobby stores because I talked about Joshin, Kenbox, and TomTom. And that's the order I kind of recommend. If you are in Osaka, definitely check out Joshin if you can swing it, because most likely when you go to Osaka, you're probably gonna go to Kyoto and do all the temples and all that stuff over there. But if you have the opportunity to, definitely check out Joshin because they have a wide availability of cars and just diecast models that you could look at. So highly recommend. If you are in the Shinjuku, Shibuya area and you're trying to find diecast models, definitely check out Kenbox. I found Kenbox like literally on the last day of the trip, and I wish I found it sooner because its supply, they have 2 stores, and in my opinion, it has a really good supply of diecast cars, so you'll be able to find it there. But obviously, everyone talks about TamTam or TomTom in Akihabara, and I think it's a good place to go. Don't get me wrong; they have a lot of auto arts there, so if that's what you're looking for, definitely go there. But in terms of the other stuff, I think it's kind of overhyped in my opinion. I think a lot of tourists go there, which is probably why the supply isn't that great, which is why I recommend, oh my gosh, the sun's in my face, which is why I recommend Joshin or Kenbox. And so yeah, guys, that is my list of places to go in Japan if you're a car enthusiast, as well as places to go to buy diecast models and stuff like that. Now, I did want to tell you at the end why I decided not to go to Daikoku, PA,
even though Daikoku PA is like the place to go for enthusiasts if you're in Japan. And the number one reason why is just accessibility. Realistically, again, when you go to Japan, you're probably not going to rent a car. That's just my assumption. You know, you spent all this money to go to Japan, you spent all this money in housing, probably not going to rent a car. And honestly, in my opinion, Daikoku PA is a little bit overhyped. You know, it is a public parking lot that has a lot of car meets. Cool. It's right next to Omori Factory, which is even more convenient if you want to check out Omori Factory as well. But it gets busted a lot. And yes, I guess you can Uber there if you want to, but Ubers are probably not going to pick you up back to go to your other destination or go back to your hotel or whatever. And so accessibility was the main reason why I didn't go to Daikoku PA. But next time, if I go to Japan again and I want to go to Daikoku PA, probably going to rent a car and do stuff like that. They also have these things on Klook where you do like the JDM experience where you could ride in like a Supra or like a 35 GTR and just like go out and take pictures around Japan. I didn't do that because in my opinion, they're kind of pricey. And at the same time, I don't know, like back in the States, right? Like I always hang out with the SDR Garage Boys and, I see those cars all the time. So it wasn't really like crazy to me, but I can understand the appeal if you're like not around, those cars and you're in Japan. So it kind of like is that dream experience. All right, guys, so I'm going to end the video here. I'm so exhausted. That is the end of the Japan trip. And my gosh, Japan is amazing. I understand why people pick Japan over and over and over again when they go on vacation because there's just so much to do in Japan. Next time when I go back, I want to visit a Rito garage, like, Max Rito, or RWB, or HKS, and other tuning garages. Like, there's just so much to do in Japan, and if you're a car enthusiast, you have, like, so much to look forward to. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching the Japan series. Like and comment down below what is your favorite thing that you saw in the video series. And I cannot wait to show you guys what's next when it comes to the GX, Supra, and other video ideas I have coming up. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Drive safe. Peace. Guys, that's freaking sick. Look at this.
Try me.
That plate says try me.
Alright.
Oh, it's a turbo Mustang. Wow.
너와 너의 맞닿은 입술이 떨어지고 쏟아지는 너의 깊은 우주 영원하지 않다는 말은 믿지 않을래 우리 비추는 별빛에 너와 내 눈을 맞추면 저 깊은 곳으로 빠져버릴 거야 Oh every day, every night 넘쳐 흘러버린 맘에 내 두 손을 꼭 잡아줬으면 해 조금만 더 맞춰줄래 이렇게 말은 하지 않아도 돼 지금 이 순간을 그려보는 거야 지금 이대로 가득히
Every day, every night 이제 나만 바라봐 너 덕분에 got my life looking hella fly